so exciting to see all these new indie games being enabled by crowdfunding, Barjo, especially Aussie-made ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm keen to see how they can recreate that original moody Syndicate vibe.
Well, speaking of classic games of yesteryear, the original Abe's Odyssey was a pretty brutal 2D platformer/puzzle game that came out in 1997 on PlayStation and PC. It instantly won itself fans for its challenging gameplay, humour, and of course the ability to fart on command.
Now we have Oddworld New and Tasty, which is a bit more than your average HD re-release. They've essentially just rebuilt the whole thing from scratch with all sorts of improvements. But does old Stichlip's first adventure still hold up?
Mullet the Gluckin. My whole life changed in just one day.
This is actually quite a dark story that doesn't shy away from some pretty deep themes.
Yeah, it's not quite as dark as Gods Will Be Watching, but it's certainly not a field of sunshine and puppies.
The game starts with our hero, Abe, already imprisoned inside the gloomy Rupture Farms, the largest meat processing plant in Oddworld. And it's here that Abe and many of his fellow Mudokons have been enslaved their entire lives, where they're forced to help turn the planet's creatures into tasty treats.
But we rounded them up, ignored their cries.
Then we flash back to why Abe is locked away. It all starts when Rapture Farms finds itself driving most of the local fauna to near extinction, and their profits dropping.
That's when Abe discovers the greedy Gluckin's plan to boost profits is to turn him and his pals into popsicles.
It was us.
So what else is there to do but break out and try to free his fellow slaves?
Hex, I love how dark this game is, but there's also this sort of surreal cuteness and charm to it that stops it from being too sad or depressing.
Absolutely. I mean, for an almost naked, emaciated slave with his lips tied shut, he still manages to be somehow endearing.
Yeah, and I think it's partly because he's an underdog character. Just one little guy fighting for what's right against a massive evil corporation that will trample over anything in the pursuit of profit.
Get me out of here.
But mostly I like him because he can fart.
Well, always lightens the mood. Plus, I like the way the story is told through a kind of Dr. Seuss rhyme. It gives it that kind of creepy children's book vibe.
And the strangest thing I saw, the big moon was before me, and its face was my paw.
Gameplay-wise, you basically work your way through levels trying to stay alive by using a mix of puzzle solving, body snatching, precise platforming, and good timing.
And along the way, you can use some basic commands to try and lead any Mudokons you find to safety through these bird portals. There are also these kind of scoreboards around the place which tally how many Mudokons are still alive, how many you've saved, and, well, how many haven't made it.
In the original game, there were 99 Mudokons to save, and in this one, there are 299. Hex, at first, I was determined to save every single one. And I thought I'd combed that first area thoroughly to save them, but when I moved on, well, let's just say I clearly left a few good men behind.
Yeah, I think those guys must have been hiding because I missed them as well.
Yeah, after that happened, I couldn't be bothered saving them anymore, and I was a bit more cavalier with their lives.
Uh-oh. Oh no, knucklehead. Uh-oh.
But if you don't do your best and save enough of them, then you have to prepare yourself for a pretty grim ending.
Saving them all really is easier said than done, though. I mean, this is such a brutal game. Basically, anything that isn't the ground can kill you, and even that can't be trusted sometimes. I don't think I've said oops so many times in a game before. Oops. Oopsie. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's another one.
I think anyone who played Abe's Odyssey remembers that it was brutally hard, rage quit hard. Those checkpoints were just so brutal, and so much trial and error, which is fundamental to figuring out the puzzles. It took a very committed and patient soul to finish it. Back then, committed and patient, I was not.
Yes, but it is much more doable now since one of the new additions is a quick save button. I didn't actually know it was there to begin with, but once I found it, I have to admit I spammed the hell out of it. Jump over a mine, quick save. Get past a grinder, that's a quick save. Possess a slig, oh you better believe that's a quick save.
I love a tough game, and hard difficulty is so in right now, but yeah, I'm glad they added that to take the edge off a bit. It puts you partly in control of the game's challenge and stops you from getting too frustrated or feeling like the game's unfair. which it totally is sometimes.
Yeah, there was one puzzle where you first have to distract some sligs, then quickly run past them while they shoot at you, hop over some rocks while giant spiky balls swing between the gaps, and then on the last rock there's a little freaking bat that kills you if you stay there too long. Oh, it must have taken me about 20 tries to get past that bit.
Yeah, the game can be a mad troll at times like that, and the quick save doesn't really help you in those tightly timed moments either.
Well, it does a little bit, because it's quicker to respawn with a quick load than it is to wait for the game to do it. I even found myself quick saving at checkpoints just because of that. But other than quick saves and extra Mudokons and the obvious graphical upgrades, not a lot has changed, has it?
No, I do like how the screen now scrolls with you though, instead of it being on individual screens. Just makes things feel more cohesive and smoother. But other than that, I think everything else is pretty much where it was, which is definitely going to get those nostalgia glands swelling for fans of the original. What do you think overall, Hex?
Well, I actually think this is the perfect game to get remade. I mean, 2D games have made a big resurgence over the past few years, and there are some clever puzzles and unique ideas that mean it doesn't actually feel dated at all. If anything, it feels more interesting and modern than some recent 2D games. I liked it a lot. I'm giving it 8 out of 10.
Yeah, this is old school tough, but it's also rewarding and charming at the same time, so that kind of makes you want to chip away at it until you crack it. I'm giving it 8 as well.